Before we get started, does anyone want to get out?
Who left the fridge open?
Crush your enemies. See them driven before you.
Feelings as easy as breathing.
Dead or alive, you are coming with me.
I'm the guy with the gun.
Dodge this.
Here's Johnny.
Yeah, baby! Yeah! Woo! Guys, I want to tell you how to play. What? I just... What?
It's just him.
Yeah, baby! Boy. Yeah!
It was a firefight!
Oh, dude, got him, bro. Oh, I got him. That'll be close now. We did it! They're just shooting at my decoys. Now we flank around and kill everyone. Don't mind me, I'll be squad wiping here, Raoul. Don't mind me while I squad wipe, Raoul. Hope it's not too distracting, all the squad wiping. What the shit?
I am very, very sneaky, sir.
That's how we do, ladies and gents! How's a little decoy? Perfectly executed.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum.
I love the smell of napalm in the morning. Say hello to my little friend!
Go ahead. Make my day.
It don't matter if you win by an inch or a mile. Winning's winning.
60% of the time, it works every time.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained?
Hail to the king, baby.
Ladies and gentlemen, hold on with the frame. Welcome to a very, very special live stream courtesy of MSI. We're here checking out the brand new 1660 series. I've got the marksman here with me.
What's going on? I don't know if people can tell that MSI is bringing you this stream.
What?
Sorry, can you hear me through your little lefty helmet over there?
Swag, I can't hear. But welcome, guys. Like I said, we're really excited to show you guys the brand new 1660 series. We got both the 1660 and the 1660 Ti here to check out. And for those that have never heard of the cards, because they are quite new, I think they came out in the country 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, the 1660 came out, I think, this beginning of this week.
Yeah,
I think the 14th, I think it ended. So they were available in the 1660 Ti.
Yeah. NDA was like the second one. So they've just come out. We did leave a link in the description if you guys want to go and see the entire range. Epix has them in stock at the moment. But we want to talk about the cards because a lot of people haven't heard of them. They might not know what these cards are about. They are budget cards, but they pack a huge punch. And we've got the marksman here to tell you exactly what these cards are all about.
Oh, thank you very much, Mr. D. Yeah, so these are quite an interesting card. I think this is going to be NVIDIA's big mainstream card for the next year or so. They are basically trying to replace obviously the 1060 series.
Music's loud, hold on. Is the music too loud? Hold on.
Alright, turn the music off. Alright. That's still playing. So we've got the new setup here.
We needed some music to bring in. So if you didn't hear me before, what I was saying earlier is that we have the GTX 1660 cards to check out, both the 1660 and the TI version. The cards came out in the country about a week and a half ago, so they're brand new cards. They're budget cards, but they pack a huge punch.
Well, when you say budget,
well,
they're not cheap.
They're not cheap, but
good.
they're reasonable. We have a link in the description to see the entire range. ETech just got them in stock. But we're going to talk about why these cards, if you're looking for a decent entry-level GPU, why you should even consider these in the first place.
So yeah, these cards are NVIDIA's, they're going to be NVIDIA's mainstream cards for about the next year or so. These cards aren't RTX cards, which is a bit of a disappointment. These are the GTX series. They've called it this really weird numbering system, 1660, as a replacement, direct replacement of the 1060. Why 16? There was like some story about it's moving up to, it's almost as fast as a 2070, but they're using those numbers already. I don't know why they didn't call it an 1160 or something like that. I think it would have made a lot more sense.
But you talk about the RTX features. Obviously, it's not an RTX card, but the GTX cards have now.
Yeah, they're going to enable the RTX features, but that probably won't run fantastically on this card. This is definitely a mid-range. This is like the start of the high-end card. So a good way to look at this is, what kind of card do you have now and what would you want to upgrade to? So let's jump straight into actually pricing. So for the 1660, which is this one that's just released and is now available at EveTech, I think you got the links in the description.
Links in the description. Welcome Jan, welcome Shannon, Brian Jr. Smith.
This specific card, the Gaming X Edition from MSI, is retailing at 5,400 Rand. So it's not super cheap, but what are you getting out of this is probably around a 1070 to 1070 Ti, depending on the game performance. So when you look at it like that, it's actually really good value for money. It's got 6 gigs of DDR5 gaming RAM, or DDR5 plus, GDR6 RAM, sorry, which is more than enough for anything in 1080p. It's not really recommended if you want to do a 4K gaming or something like that. But if you're doing 4K gaming, you probably have the money to go for a 2080 or a 2080 Ti. Exactly. So this kind of card, if you're rocking something like a 970, I would say is the entry point. If you're rocking a 970, it's starting to run a little bit hard in some of your games.
980 even maybe?
Maybe a 980. I was actually thinking about this before we started the stream, and I think a 980, if you've got the low memory one, I think it came out in 4 gig and a 6 gig version. If you've got the 4 gig version, this is definitely an upgrade contender if you're looking in the 5,000 to 6,000 Rand range. Otherwise, like 970 and below. So and if you've got something like a 1050 or a 1050 Ti, it's also a good upgrade candidate.
Tina with a good question. Welcome, Rolf. He said background music was too loud. Yeah, we killed that pretty quick. But can it play Crysis?
Of course it can play
2007 Crysis, but it can crank
I can play Crysis
Ultra and then some.
Pretty well.
You don't have to worry, you're covered, buddy.
Yeah, Crysis will give you other issues on modern PCs, but the graphics card is not going to be the issue with it.
That's it.
So what is nice, as you know, MSI's got different ranges of card. This is pretty much their medium to high end range. I think the I can't remember what there's the higher end one, which is the overclocked edition. This isn't an overclocked edition. This is just the standard speed, and this has got the Gaming X, so it's got these two beautiful fans on it. I've actually got a 1660 Ti sitting right here, waiting to be unpacked.
So the cards come with like nice RGB built in.
Yeah, they've got the RGB built in.
Yeah.
So this is 1660 Ti. The one in front here is the 1660. They are basically exactly the same. There's virtually nothing different about them.
Let me hold that.
Except for, maybe show that towards the camera.
There you go.
You can put Lucky down, I think.
Can I though?
I think you've got it on your head. I think it'll be okay.
So there you go.
So, yeah.
Side by side.
They look exactly the same. They both run 8-pin PCI Express power supplies. And I would say, like, if you had two of them in the case, very difficult to tell them apart. What is nice, MSI is really upping their game. At the back, it's got the metal back plate. It doesn't just have the plain PCB. Maybe show the back. It's actually my favorite feature of MSI cards lately.
Nice feature.
Doesn't just look plain and boring with all the resistors and whatever's on the back there. It's running the full metal background. Dave's going for the close-up. Ooh.
Check that out. So there we go.
Very nice. I don't know if they can hear you if you speak from over there. So Dave's going, ooh, very nice. And Dave looks very, very nice with his lucky hat on. I don't know if you guys have taken in the true majesty of Dave's lucky hat. So yeah, it's got these two big, it's a side blower setup for temperature. I think all new cards now, none of them are using the blower style. These are all using the open fan style. And so you won't have any issues with cooling or anything like that with this card. Why they didn't make it overclocked edition, I'm not 100% sure. I think they wanted that for the high end one. But they do also have the lower end armor edition, which is a little bit cheaper. And that is one thing where you're going to start having a little bit of a question when deciding which one of these cards you want, because you can get the lower end armor edition TI 1660 for basically the same price as the Gaming X edition. Okay, you don't get the RGB, you don't get all the fancy features, but you are getting a slightly better card.
Absolutely.
So that's the one thing. Like Nvidia's shrinking down their market range so tightly now that you can't really tell the difference between, or you can't. It becomes very difficult to decide when money is a very big factor. But also, there is a 600 Rand difference in this, and 600 Rand, that might push you over to get the next level up of processor. You may be able to save up for a little bit more RAM or slightly better RAM. So that's a nice thing to have. You've got a lot of options in this space.
Willem Detroit saying, I want that dragon teddy, please. I told you everyone loves Lucky. That's why I bought it back.
Yeah, you see, Lucky, he's looking a little worse for wear here. Luckily, the camera's not picking this up.
Resolution's not that high. Tian's saying, let's give them some likes. Thank you, buddy. That hat is amazing. And it's so comfortable. It really is.
Especially in this hot weather.
I'm not overheating at all. That's how breathy this thing is. Molly van der Walt saying, wow, my son would love this card. Now I need to save. But not that much because it's so well priced.
Yeah, so 5,400 Rand for the 1660 version and 6,000 Rand, just under 6,000 Rand for the 1660 Ti. So Martin J is asking, would it still be worth opting for the RTX 2060? So this again raises quite a good question. The RTX, I think they come in at about 7,500 Rand. So you're looking at about 1,500 Rand more. You do get better performance with the RTX 2060, and you get those RTX functions, which to me, you know, that would make it probably worthwhile to go the RTX route. At least you can get it.
If the budget allows, of course, yeah.
But if you're on a strict budget or you're on strict power constraints or something like that, this is definitely the way to go. And there's a lot of guys who say, you know, forget about the RTX features. I don't need ray tracing yet. I just want a GPU that games.
I think a 2060 running RTX features, you're going to take a performance knock.
Yeah.
You know, like
it's more to just show your friends, like, hey, check out the sweet reflections.
I think until they got it worked out, like I'm not saying it's not worked out already. That's come a long way in the last couple of months. But your 2070 Ti's and your 2080 Ti's, that's where RTX starts to make a lot more sense.
If we're going into it, I would say, like, my own money, if I had to buy a card right now, and I'm like an enthusiastic gamer, GTX 2070 is the one that the RTX 2070, because it gives you all the performance and all the features.
Yeah.
But
it's expensive.
It is expensive.
Yeah.
If I was a student or, you know, in high school, saving up my pocket money for this stuff, working a side job, the GeForce GTX 1660 or the 1660 Ti, that's the card you're going to get.
The bottom line is, if you want to jump into Fortnite, Apex Legends, PUBG, games like that are so popular that everyone's playing.
Yeah, you want to play at 1080p.
A card like this is what you need.
Yeah.
You know, if that's you know, like Neil says, he's an enthusiast. He's looking to like showcase games off with the RTX lighting at good resolutions. Then that's a different story. But if you wanted a good entry level card that will take you to medium to high settings across the board in those sort of games.
And also, this card looks exactly the same. I think, Dave, you got the exact same RTX 2070 in there. You got the Gaming X in there as well. Yeah. They all look the same. So if you want a card that looks super sexy, this is basically your only option. The MSI's really, really up their game. Inside the box as well, when you get it, they really have up their packaging game.
So if you guys look at the box of the RTX, which is this guy right here, like you'll notice that the card we just showed you is basically identical.
Yeah, it's just a lot bigger. Your
It's
card.
just slightly bigger, but the card, yeah, like it's got all the great RGB features as well.
Yeah. And then also what I like, and I think we showed this in the last unboxing video we did, like MSI, like it's beautifully packaged. If you kind of like me and you like opening up these things like a present, you get inside, you open it up, it's got beautiful foam, well-fitted foam all around the card itself. Comes with this nice little letter that contains all of the documentation, all of the driver discs. It even comes with my favorite feature, the MSI beer coasters, because everyone needs some beer coasters.
You know we
in their
put
life.
those to good use. I think
We've used thousands of them actually.
we put those to very good use. Ingrid, welcome. Dearvolt saying that dragon would look so cool next to my MSI rig. People loving the Lucky Dragon.
I think we need to speak to MSI
I
and
think
be like,
we need to
guys,
do giveaways for these
let's get
bad
some
boys.
Lucky Dragon giveaways.
What did
going
you want
on
to say?
here.
You should have 2 dragons sitting here.
Yeah.
Let's do the voiceover for these guys.
That would actually, that's maybe our next
That's,
stream.
that's the next video, I think. Yeah, very popular.
We've also got the little dragon in front here.
Yeah.
Dave's house is basically filled with dragons.
Yeah. Let me, guys. If, by the way, if you are just joining us, welcome. We really would appreciate a share of the stream. If you're watching on Facebook on the EVTech page or SuperTuber, give us a share, give us a like.
And if you have any questions, give us a shout out. This is basically a Q&A session.
We open the floor to you guys to talk about the 1660 range, but even the 20 series. If you guys want to talk about that, if you're just jumping into the market now, looking to build a PC, looking for a decent card, or maybe you want to upgrade, maybe you're running a 970 or 960, and you really think you need a bit of a performance boost, please ask us questions.
Let us know what you're running, what you think you should upgrade to.
Yeah.
We're here to help you guys. We're going to run the stream probably till around 5 o'clock. So we basically
we got
want
some
you guys.
time to brain,
Yeah.
so please.
Well, why don't we jump
please ask us
into
questions.
go into the desktop view.
Vedon van Donder, wat say you? No, welcome. Okay, you want to see some stats? Let's show you guys some stats on the cards real quick.
Yeah, so I hope you guys can see this on the screen. It might be a little bit small. So basically, like, I think a lot of people are going to question, like, where does this card fit in overall? So here's a nice little table that I found online around what the specs, what the features are. All the prices are in dollars, but you can basically convert this, like this $220 into about 4,400. So basically double it and times it by 10, and you'll get the South African pricing for all of these cards. So if you look at the GTX 1660, it has 1,408 CUDA cores, which is like your processing engines. It does all the processing of the graphics, your rasterizers, all of that stuff. Compared to the 1660 Ti, it's got 1,536, so it's got about 132 more, which doesn't sound like that much. And interestingly, it actually runs at quite a bit lower clock rates. I think the 1660 Ti runs at a 1500 boost rate, and the 1660 runs at 1530, and the base clock rate is actually a little bit lower as well, especially on the memory. The memory for the 1660 goes all the way up to 2000, where on the 1660 Ti it only peaks out at about 1500 or so. So it is quite interesting that they are actually very closely spec'd. But I want to jump down to some what are these things called? Benchmarks.
Can you guys see the screen?
I think they will be able to.
Is it not too small?
So Assassin's Creed Odyssey, these will be easier to see. So this is the 1660 benchmarks. So if you check it out at 1080p, this thing runs Assassin's Creed Odyssey at about 48 frames a second, which is not bad, not too, like, won't blow anyone's socks off. If you look at something like the RTX 2060, it's running at almost at a solid 60 FPS, and the 1660 Ti is running it at about 3 to 4 frames a second faster. So this is where you got to start thinking, looking about where your price comes in. Interestingly though, both of these cards definitely beat the 1070, which runs it at 45 frames a second, and the 1070 Ti is just slightly faster than the 1660, and the 1660 Ti actually beats the 1070 Ti.
That's interesting, yeah. The Ralph comes in with a very good question. What does AMD have to compete?
Ooh, now you're getting into the wars. In this country, not much, and that the main reason is that AMD pricing in this country is very broken. So something like a Vega 56, which is very close, and you can even see it on this benchmark comparison here on the top left screen over here, you can see that the Vega 56 puts in about 53 frames a second. That's the only card from AMD. The next one down is the RX 590, which is about almost over 10 to 15% slower. Dave has to lean in close. He's got the bad eyes.
The good eyes.
So AMD's basically got quite a big gap in this market that the 1660 is filling, and I think that's why NVIDIA saw this gap and they jumped in on it.
It's interesting to see it trump the 2070, yeah?
Yeah, so it is better than 2070. This is Assassin's Creed. If we go to something a little different, so Battlefield 5's
I was running a 2070, FYI, guys, for the last year and a half. And I was very happy with my 2070. I've been running, as you guys know, like every game under the sun for the last year on stream. So it's very interesting to see it's edging it out slightly.
Yeah. Then on this side, the for Battlefield 5 at 1080p. So GTX 1660, it takes a bit more of a hit here, running at 85 frames a second, but that's more than enough to get a solid 60 FPS across everything. It's a bit slower than the GTX 1070 in this game, and this is why it shows very game dependent where you're going to get your performance advantages. 1660 Ti again showing good performance against the 1070, a little bit slower than the 1070 Ti, but then something like the RX Vega knocks these all out the park, and even the RX 580 and 590 put in a good showing here. So games like Battlefield 5 actually are leaning towards an AMD performance advantage.
Glad saying the screen is visible. Thank you very much. I'm very glad to hear that.
The one thing you will notice, though, and I haven't talked about it too much, is at your 4K resolutions, it really does start struggling. So something like Battlefield 5, you'll just start getting over 30 frames a second. And in a game like Ghost Recon Wildlands, you'll get only 20 frames a second at 4K. So this is definitely not a 4K.
Like if you have a 4K monitor, you're not buying this card.
Yeah.
Like, let's be honest.
Yeah. You definitely, this is not the card.
If you've got the money for a 4K monitor, you're buying a different card.
Let me jump back. Let's jump back into the.
What Jason's saying? What PSU would you recommend? Are you talking about for this card or just in general?
For this card, it's actually very, very minor specs required. It uses an 8-pin connector, but I don't think it actually would require an 8-pin connector. On the back of the box itself, it says 450 watts or greater, and I don't think any moderate gaming PC. I don't think any modern gaming PC in the last 5 years would come.
Why do you laugh every time it's TV?
That is amazing.
It's so uncomfortable and hot. But I do it for you guys.
I'm very glad you do. So a 450 watt power supply is needed for this and the 1660 Ti. The one thing that does kind of disappoint me about these new cards, and it's not an MSI thing or any of the people who make the cards, is that these are quite big cards. This card is as big, if not bigger, than your 1070 was and my 970 was. And to think this is like the lower end, smaller card, it makes building in a very small, like an ITX or a micro ATX case for like a media center PC, the space constraints are actually quite bad with these cards, and they have these really big coolers on them. I know a lot of other brands, they bring out a triple slot design, so it's a much shorter card, but it's much wider. It will take up more space in the case. So I was hoping to see something like, maybe it's a bit unrealistic, but like a passive cooling with no fans, so it's completely silent, like you used to get in some of the older cards.
With no fans?
With no fans.
How the hell does that work?
It just radiates off heat and uses your case as fans to cool it down.
That's quite clever.
But these new cards, they generate too much heat overall, and that's why they have these massive, and MSI's really like gone to town with this cooling, and it's really, really good cooling with the heat pipes, with a big aluminium heatsink that covers the entire card. It's really nice, but it also means that there's a lot of heat being generated here.
Martin J. Kutsia saying, would it still be worth opting for the...
we've read that.
Oh, we read that one?
Yeah.
I'm looking for an upgrade and want to start with GPU, but not sure about the motherboard compatibility.
So depending what you have, if you've got a motherboard in the last 5 or 6 years, even if you've got anything...
What about this guy over here?
What about that guy?
The MSI motherboard over here.
You can buy that motherboard.
Yeah.
But if he's going to upgrade his GPU first, he doesn't need to buy the motherboard. So if you've got a motherboard that's running any Core i5, Core i7, any of those processors, you are more than likely you're going to have a PCI Express version 3 slot on your motherboard. And that means that any of these cards will be completely compatible. They haven't released a new PCI standard, I think, in the last 5 to 8 years. So if you bought your PC in the last 5 to 8 years, your motherboard will definitely be compatible. You just need to make sure you've got that 8-pin GPU power supply plug from your power supply that goes in the top.
Ralph asking, best paired with Intel
there.
or AMD processors?
Doesn't actually matter really. Like it's a really strange thing. You'll see no difference with a like-for-like processor from AMD or Intel. You're going to get the exact same performance. Intel at the moment, they do have better gaming performance if you go higher end, but they are more expensive and the motherboards are significantly more expensive currently.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I was also wondering the same thing because we get asked it all the time, Intel or AMD.
Like I'm an AMD fan, but like overall superpower top of the range PC, you'd go Intel, but you'd be spending 15 grand on a processor.
Is AMD not slightly better for gaming?
No, it's more better for doing video graphic.
I was about to say video editing and stuff like that.
So if you got like a multi-load workload where you play a bit of gaming, you do some video editing, you do some 3D rendering, AMD is probably better.
Yeah.
And from a price performance ratio, AMD is definitely
it's got
better.
The best bang for the buck.
But if you want the ultimate fastest, best in the world, you'd probably still go
i9.
Intel for the moment.
Yeah.
Though AMD are supposedly releasing their new processors towards the middle of the year, and apparently they're going to be on the same level gaming-wise as the Intel processors.
Oh, really?
And they're going to have 16 to 24 cores, and it's going to be
really
ridiculous. Apparently.
What's the Threadripper chiming in at?
Threadripper's got 32 threads at the moment.
Okay.
But they're quite slow. They're not very fast.
Okay. Interesting.
But the new processor is going to be beasts.
Leonard Mills, what's happening, buddy? Welcome to the party, bro. TGIF. We're here talking about the brand new 1660
we have
series.
Cards coming out of our wazoos.
We got the 1660 and the 1660 Ti MSI cards, courtesy of MSI. They let us check these cards out for a week or two. Beautiful cards. If you had to sum these cards up in one sentence.
I think they're really good entry-level gaming cards.
Yeah.
I don't know, that maybe sounds wrong, but it's like if you are buying your first gaming PC, you have a fixed budget and you can't move off it, these are great cards to go for. They will give you the performance you're looking for in all the popular games. The only games you might struggle with is something like a Metro Exodus.
Very, very
and you won't obviously be getting the RTX features.
Yeah.
Other than that, you're going to get fantastic performance for low power requirements for a fairly decent price these days.
I was running a 1070 for a year, literally until next week. I got the 2070, and I was happy as a clam. Okay, like I had no issues with that card, and these cards snuff out the 1070 in some of the most popular games.
In some games, the 1660 is faster than the 1070 Ti, and I think if you had a 1070 Ti, you'd probably be still quite a happy puppy at the moment.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
So it's a great card. We did leave the link in the description of the entire range. EveTech is stocking them at the moment. Don't get your arm cut off by the invisible wall there. Come on.
What do you mean? We're in the future.
Are we in the future? What do you guys think of our world-class 3D set here? Spent about a week building it, modeling it.
Yeah.
We got like that matrix effect happening in the background. State of the art, guys.
I think it looks pretty good. They've had some issues with
it. You don't get this anywhere else but right here. So you guys are in the right place. Jonathan Coetzee, would you recommend upgrading from a GTX 1060 6GB to a GTX 1660? Good question.
I would say probably not. Unless you can sell your 1060 for a really good price, that'll cover, say, 70%
What about
of the
the
new price.
TI? If you went 1660 Ti?
I would say rather, you're not going to get that bump. You'll be happier with the performance increase, but you're going to be like, I don't know if I got my money's worth.
I would say if you want to see that big jump, then save your pesos for
go for
2070.
2060. 2060 will give you a
What's
much
an
bigger
entry level
bump.
2060 costing these days?
About 7.5.
Okay, so I mean, it's not, it's another $3,000, not even $2,000.
Yeah, 1.5 to $2,000.
Yeah, so I'd say 2070 you'd see a noticeable bump.
I'd say hold on to your 1060 at the moment. It's okay. It's going to struggle in a couple of games. But maybe wait 6 months, see what happens with the prices, see what happens if there's a new card coming out, and go from there.
Yeah.
Because we know at the moment, like the 2080s are way overpriced. They're
Yeah.
just too expensive. Guys aren't buying
It's like
them.
almost 20K.
Nvidia's going to have to drop their prices, and then hopefully that'll like filter down to the rest of the market and make everything a little bit cheaper. So I would say if you've got a 1060, I would say stick around for another 6 months.
Yeah.
Hold out, or try and save up a little bit more money and go for the 2060 or higher than that.
Yeah.
Also, Leonard is asking, is it better than a 1080 Ti? No, it is not better than a 1080
Leonard, you crazy
Ti.
SOB.
So these cards, the 1660 fits in pretty much at or just above the 1070.
Yeah.
And the 1660 Ti fits in at or just above the 1070 Ti.
Yeah.
So you can work it out from that. The 1080 Ti is quite a big step above that.
It is. Dirk Van Rooyen, love it. Thank you. Do you love the Dragon the most? Because that's where all the love's going. Hope you're loving the Intel. And like I said earlier, like Neil said earlier, any questions, throw them at us. We had to answer questions, guys. So and while you're asking us questions, throw us a share on the stream as well. Share
and
it
a
out.
like. Apparently,
and a like.
Apparently, likes are big in with in crowd now.
You know, like Mark Zuckerberg loves live streams with likes. So please,
Yeah.
Jonathan Kritsia, thanks for the advice. What about getting a second-hand GTX 1080 for about $6,000?
Ooh, so secondhand always there's like you've got your
Was it a mining card?
Yeah, you got a couple of questions you got to look at, like who you buying it from firstly, because there's a million guys selling cards, and they're not really selling cards. They're coming there to steal your money and giving you boxes full of bricks.
Yeah, well, that's the worst case scenario. Yeah.
The other thing is you don't know what the cards been used for. I'm okay. Yeah, this iced tea is hitting me quite hard.
Iced tea,
yeah.
Too much sugar.
Too much sugar. Yeah, it's reacting badly with me. So the other thing with buying secondhand, you don't know what the card's been used for. Has it been in a mining place in the middle of the Karoo, running at 75 degrees Fahrenheit or Celsius, I guess, for the last 2 years? You probably don't want to buy that card. Has it been used in a gaming rig for the last couple of months? Then go for it. Yeah. If you can find it good, if you know the guy, if
it's under warranty.
If it's under warranty.
1080s usually have a 3-year
really
warranty.
good, yeah.
If you've still got like a 2-year warranty on a 1080, if it was abused, it's gonna kick up dust before then.
For about $6,000, that's not a bad price.
For 1080.
For 1080, it's not a bad price.
Which 1080 is? Are we talking like an OC edition, or what are we talking? Talk dirty.
So it says it's from a friend, so
okay, from a trusted mate.
So yeah, but the thing is with secondhand, there's always a higher risk. With buying this directly from someone like EveTech, if it breaks, you send it right back. They'll send you a brand new one.
Yeah,
don't have to worry about it.
I would say as long as you got the manufacturer warranty, and like I said, I think stock standard is 3 years. Some cards carry a 5-year.
Yeah.
Then you're good. I mean, like get the proof of purchase, and you should be good to go. I wouldn't.
Yeah. So you should be okay. And this is the weird thing with the market at the moment. There's so many secondhand cards out there in the market. Back in the day, like no one would be thinking of buying secondhand cards. Where now, because of the price disparity. Like,
shit, I'm selling a few if you want. DM me.
Dave's always got a couple hidden away if he needs.
Yeah.
So if you feel trustworthy with a friend and he's got the proof of purchase,
it's an OC edition. Okay, yeah, then it's a good deal, bro.
But for a lot of people, they don't have friends with sweet gaming cards that they're willing to sell.
Yeah.
So it's something that you need to go do.
Jonathan, if it's an OC edition, I'd say that's a nice card. Yeah.
And then
I'd say go for it. If
Martin, what's Martin asking us here? So the jump from 980 Ti to RTX 2060, is it worth it?
I would say
it probably is worth it. 980 Ti, it's a good card. It really is.
RTX 2060, I would say definitely.
Yeah, RTX 2060. Again, you're going to get a good speed bump, but going from the top of the line, best of the 9 series, to the bottom of the line, entry level of the RTX.
What sort of bump, if we had to percentage wise? 20%, 30%?
Always ask me these questions.
I'd say it's a good question.
I have to remember all these things. I would say probably around, it depends on the game and all of that kind of thing, but probably like 40%. It's going to be a big jump.
So that's quite a jump, Martin. I actually owned the 980 Ti before my 1070.
You've actually got it, I think, still in your stream PC.
I'm still using it in my stream PC. It's a fantastic card. And just jumping to the 1070, I noticed a big jump already. So I can't imagine a 2060 will definitely.
No, 980 Ti, it'll still play the mainstream games at 1080p. But you're gonna with the newer stuff like Metro
You know,
You're gonna
a game like Metro is like a showcase.
Yeah,
game. Like
yeah.
you're gonna struggle. Even on my RTX 2070, I've got to tinker, to get
Yeah.
it smooth. But it's like the crisis of 2019.
Yeah.
So that's understandable.
For sure. Jonathan Kutsia, he's also
How
going
do
to
you
be
send
buying
me
an
a DM?
MSI.
Yeah. How do you send me a DM?
So you can follow us on Super 2
Just jump on the Super 2-bit is our Facebook page. You can if you're looking for a
and then you can drop us a message to our inbox. One of our guys will definitely get back to you. I'll usually answer any of the technical questions.
Yeah.
So just follow us on Facebook on Super 2-bit.
Super
and
2-bit.
then
That's
we'll
Super
go for it.
number 2 BIT.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it'll be good. Yeah. And
Yeah.
I'll try and help you guys out. But
What other questions do you guys have? So, like I said, these cards are brand spanking new. When we got these cards, they were still brand new.
Oh, let's actually. Oh well, no.
We had to take off the plastic off the fans. That's how new these cards
Yeah,
are.
these cards
and
are-
we were one of the first guys to be able to tinker and play with these cards. So
Yeah.
once again, big ups to MSI for letting us be one of the first guys. Full Mystic Light on the cards as well, for those that are wondering about Mystic Light.
So if you like your RGB, the Gaming X
Yeah.
is the one you want to get. The lower end armor editions, they don't have the RGB built in.
Yeah. Makes a big difference.
Yeah.
If you got a
No,
most cases.
if you want a case setup like Dave's got over here.
I can show you my
you've got
case
no
setup
RGB.
if you want to see it. But
No,
my
no,
card's
no,
not.
RGB is not
my,
working.
my card's not.
I bought that.
My card's not set up. Imran, what's happening? Welcome to the stream, Imran. Good to have you here. Jar coming in with a question. Hey guys, is the RTX 2060 much better than the RTX 2070? And is it worth the price difference?
Wait, that doesn't make much sense.
The RTX 2060.
So the RTX 2070 is better than the RTX 2060.
But how much better? Is
performance-wise.
it worth an upgrade?
No. So if you're running a 2060,
Or if you're looking between the two cards.
always
to
go
purchase.
the highest if you can afford it.
If you can afford it.
But
what would you say? The performance
2070. I haven't looked at the 2060. It's actually the one card we haven't really looked at too much.
We had the 2060 and the 2070.
Yeah, we looked more at the 2070 speed. So it's about a 15% difference between the two. So it's not huge.
Yeah.
And if you're running 1080p, you'll have no issue between either of them.
It
if
comes
you're running
down,
4K,
it
then
comes down to 1080p gaming, which I think 90% of 95% of gamers are.
The price difference, I haven't actually looked at the latest prices for the 2070, but the 2060 is $7,500. I think 2070 is over 10.
I think it's about
11.5,
12.
Yeah,
we do have the EVTech link in the description.
Yeah.
That'll take you to the 1660 series, but just hop onto the 20 series.
Yeah,
from
they've got a whole RTX page set up there.
They've got all the pricing there, so you guys can check out the link in the description.
But it's really cool. So I would say, again, it all comes down to around the money that you have and what screen you have.
Yeah.
If you're running 1080p on a normal 27-inch, 60 hertz, go for the 2060 for now.
Yeah.
Buy it. If you're looking to upgrade in the next 3 to 6 months to a 4K monitor or to a 1440p monitor,
I think 4K is irrelevant. I think
you say that
you're
now.
talking about the
but
3% of gamers that are looking for 4K.
We used to have a 640 by 480 screen, and we'd be like, "Wow, this is amazing!"
Yeah,
and no games could run at that.
This is true.
So,
if you want to get into 4K gaming, don't even consider anything below 2070 Ti.
Yeah, and I would even say if you get in 4K, go 2080 Ti at a minimum.
That's big. That's big.
Because
poker.
you're just going to always run into problems and have to buy a new card later.
Frederick saying, I have already went and checked out the website. Nice, Frederick. Jacques saying, sorry, yes. Oh, he's saying which of the two. So you obviously, if you can afford the 2070, it is
quite a big,
faster.
for the price jump.
Yeah.
So your price to performance ratio, I think your 2060 is actually a bit better, especially at 1080p. If you're going higher than 1080p, and that's resolution, if for you guys wondering.
Yeah.
So if you have a normal monitor that runs at 1920 by 1080, that's a 1080p monitor.
Yeah.
Make sure a 2060 is probably going to be more than enough for you. Enabling RTX features, you're probably going to have to drop it down to 30 frames a second. That's what you're going to see most of the time. But for every other game, it will smoke every other game. Dave's running the 2070 in his PC.
Well, I was up until last week.
You got
the
1070,
yeah.
But the 2070, that thing destroys every game.
I mean, I was running Metro.
And he's running a 1080p on it.
I was running Metro Exodus, cranked out the Wazoo RTX on. I think I had DLSS on as well, and it was like
it doesn't break a sweat.
Doesn't break a sweat, yeah. Unlike me in this hat, with the zingers.
with the zingers indeed.
Dill saying the 2060 is about 11% slower at 1440p than the 2070. Okay, so 1440p obviously a higher resolution.
Yeah.
That's about right. So 1080.
Yeah, so 1440 is the resolution between a full 4K and
slightly sharper, hence the drop in performance. But at 1080p, 15%.
And the big issue when you get to 4K is why you want the TI edition is because it's got 11 gigs of RAM rather than the 8 gigs that the 2060, the 2070, and the 2080 have.
Yeah.
Because you actually need that extra RAM to be able to take in that entire screen scene and do your anti-aliasing, all your shaders and all of that stuff on top of it. So
would you say, if you look, there's a lot of guys watching looking at like a PC build, they want to build a PC. How would you break down, like if you wanted to go for a card like this, what would be the perfect build in terms of like, you're looking at like a cost-effective build here.
So I would say say I'm in university, I've got 10 to 12,000 rand to play around with for a build for a case.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, okay, what do I want to do? Money is tight. I can't, I can't stretch anything further than it has to be.
Yeah.
There's no more money coming in. What would I do? 1660 Ti is probably my go-to.
Yeah.
I'd be like, let's find that one. Go to Eve Tech, definitely get the best price on it.
The new cases are coming out in a couple of weeks.
Then what I would do, I'd probably go more expensive on the motherboard and cheaper on a processor. For a lower end or a cheaper build, a more cost effective build, I'd probably go AMD. I'd go something like the 1600X, Ryzen 1600X or the Ryzen 2600X processors. Mainly because you can overclock them straight away. Gives you a lot of extra ability to do things outside of just gaming. And the cost effectiveness of it is a lot better.
Would you say rather splurge on the motherboard because you can upgrade it later?
I always say go most expensive on the motherboard when you buy it. Get the latest generation, highest end motherboard that you can feel
a lot of people go wrong there. They spend all their money in the GPU. And a crap motherboard, and then like they can't upgrade.
And you think like, oh cool, I can buy this $1.5 grand motherboard.
Yeah.
But if you just went for the $3 grand or the $2.5 grand motherboard, that'll last you so much better.
And that's why a card like this kind of finds its feet. Yeah. It's like you're going to spend 3,500 rand on a motherboard, which is a lot of money, especially for a budget PC. But then a card at this sort of price point fits in there nicely. And then in a year's time, you might have enough pesos for a 2070, 2060, and you make the jump.
And then you don't have to change anything else, or you can upgrade your CPU because you bought the good motherboard that will support the new CPUs. And so I would say spend about at least 2,000 rand on the motherboard.
Don't go cheap on the motherboard. And I made the same mistake many years myself.
I also used to do it all the time, and I used to kick myself after like 6 months.
Because you think, oh, the power's in the GPU.
No.
Then you spend money on the GPU.
And you have compatibility issues and power issues and all sorts of problems.
David van Schalkwyk, welcome, as well as Damien Milburn in the hizzle. Frederick, I was thinking of building a gaming PC around the 9th gen 9900K. Well, that is quite
then you should be going for a 2080.
Yeah.
Or 2080 Ti.
If that's the sort of thing you're looking at, then you should definitely, hold on a sec, be looking at that sort of card. I'm using a 1440 by 960 hertz monitor with the GTX 1060. This is Jonathan. Would you recommend getting a 1920 by 1080 144
That's a very strange resolution that you're running.
Yeah, first of all, that resolution is incredibly strange. But on the point of would you recommend going for 1080 at 144, I absolutely would.
Yeah.
Because once you play a game at 144 hertz, it is so smooth. Nothing like you have to experience it to understand it.
And something like the 1660 Ti, depending on the game you can play, it can definitely hit those frames. Otherwise, though, you're going to have to go something like a 2060 RTX to get to that 1440 hertz. Also, I've never heard of a 1440 by 900 monitor at 60 hertz.
That's such a strange resolution. Dude.
That must
that's
be
like
quite
a square.
old school.
That's like not even is it a square?
No, I think it's 16 by 9, but it's 14
is it
by
extra
9.
wide?
15, no,
not extra
it's
wide.
a really weird resolution. Sorry, we're getting distracted
Jonathan,
by your weird resolutions.
I can without a doubt recommend going 1080 at 144. I'm running a 144 LG, and it is exceptional. It's an exceptional screen, and that once you taste that 144, there's no going back. Devin Pike, I have a 1070 overclock. What do you think should be my next GPU upgrade? Also a good question.
1070 overclock, I think again, so you got to be careful when you one generation behind. because there isn't a huge jump, even though if you go 1070 to 2080 Ti, you're going to get that performance jump that you're looking for. But what's that, 26,000 Rand? So it's not really worth it at the moment. I would personally probably wait until whatever the next generation of cards is and then buy that, or wait for a really good special on something like a 2080. When a 2080 drops into about the 8,000 to 7,000 Rand range, jump on that, buy that, you'll get that performance increase you're looking for.
Yeah.
You're getting the RTX features, you're getting all of that stuff.
That's a good answer. Charles saying, I just want a PC I can play Battlefield on, and when I work, run 40 Chrome tabs. Are you trading every cryptocurrency on the planet?
Yeah.
What the hell?
He obviously is, and yes, you need all 64 gigs of RAM.
Yeah.
So again, a Ryzen PC would probably be pretty good in that case.
Yeah.
And yeah, if your crypto hits good, then you can afford that 2080 Ti
then,
easy.
You know, if you're monitoring all 40 currencies at the same time, you'll get that.
Yeah, you can find that arbitrage.
You can make that sweet cheddar, buddy. Frederick saying, running now on my 23-inch LCD and 40-inch LED smart TV. Well,
is Frederick the guy with a weird resolution?
No, that was Jonathan. So straight away, dude, the input lag you must be getting on an LED TV must be tough.
Unless it's got a game mode, and then maybe you can
on a game mode
increase it up.
I would say,
but they all run at 60 hertz max, so you're not gonna get that ultra high.
Frederick, I was before I experienced 144 hertz, I was also skeptical about it. I was like, oh, I'm sure 4K is better, 144 hertz. What are these people talking about? Until I experienced it, it is that much better that I highly recommend dropping size to go. I'm running a 24-inch monitor now, and it's 144, and I can promise you now, it is silk. It's Egyptian silk smooth. So downsize the screen real estate in favor for the hertz.
I'm not a fan of that though. But
you're not a fan of that?
I'd rather go bigger screen.
When it dropped to 60 hertz.
Yeah.
No,
that's me.
Agree to disagree.
Yeah.
Agree to disagree.
That's me. So Jonathan is saying yes, it is an ancient monitor at 16:10 ratio.
There you go.
That makes sense. Please buy a new monitor. EveTech also sells those.
EveTech have it all, guys. Link in the description. I'll take you to the...
Maybe speak to them. Say, look, I'm buying a monitor and a new graphics card. Hook us up a sweet price, and maybe they'll work something out.
They'll tell them Dangerous Dave sent you, and then they'll sort you out.
Then
you get the special treatment. So Adil saying, if it was me, I'd go with the new monitor just because the 1060, even though not the greatest GPU, is still decent. It is still a very competent GPU.
Yeah, it is.
Without a doubt. Frederick, so Megabyte, I'm thinking... motherboard, sorry. I'm thinking of Asus ROG Strix Z390 Gaming.
Yeah. So that's a really good motherboard. Anything, as I say, you got to... I would say a general rule of thumb is if it's less than 2,000 Rand, it's not worth it. And buy it from your big brands. Buy it from MSI, buy it from Asus, buy it from Gigabyte. Don't buy a weird Chinese brand or something like that.
Yeah.
You don't know what the support's
Spend
like.
more.
You're going to struggle to find reviews for it.
Yeah.
Rather, with your motherboard, make sure you buy the most solid one you can, and then it'll be worth your while.
Like we said earlier, without a doubt, don't go cheap on your Mobo. Make sure you spend at least 2.5 to 3 grand on a decent Mobo, so when you upgrade later, you don't get any issues.
Yeah.
And I've done that so many times. And back to the point of the GTX 1660, it fits that sort of that shoe, that golden slipper.
There's a huge gap in the market specifically for this card, so it's very wise of them. The one thing I would have liked
they didn't just make this because they were bored. You know what I'm saying?
The one thing I would like with this, I would have liked to have seen it with 8 gigs of RAM. I think 6 gigs, I don't know why I had a 970 and it always had the memory issues where it was supposed to be 4 gigs and it was actually 3.5 gigs. So I've always thought rather have more RAM on a card, even though performance-wise and everything at 1080p, this card is more than capable with its 6 gigs of.
Don't rule out 6 gigs, guys. I mean, it's highly competent. What do you want?
I'm dying of heat.
Oh, really? No. I'm wearing the hat. And you dying of heat? This guy. Hey, this guy. You're not even sweating.
I am on the inside.
All right.
I am on the inside.
Okay, so Devin Pike saying, thanks. NVIDIA is releasing drivers in April that allows the RTX on the GTX cards. Yes, so this is coming. The only first of all, thank you very much to who gave us we got a nice little compliment there from
This is Mr. Pike, I think.
We never miss a compliment, or do we? I think was it Mr. Pike? Sweet, it was Jonathan. Sweet, I really appreciate all the advice from the host and the viewers. Absolutely no problem. It's our greatest of pleasures.
And that's why we do these kind of
streams. That's why we're here for you guys.
These are a lot of fun for us as well.
Yeah.
We enjoy talking to you guys and trying to help everyone else.
Yeah, we're here because we want to help. We want to, like, you know, if we have any wisdom to let on, we'll by all means do that. Devin, to answer your question, absolutely, that is coming down the pipeline.
Yeah, so in April they're going to release this driver, which is quite interesting to see.
With a twist.
Yeah, so they are saying, and we'll have to see if it's true, that an RTX card, so something like a 2070 RTX, which is roughly the same speed as a 1080 Ti, will be able to do RTX features 8 times faster than a 1080 Ti will be able to do. So they're going to let you do it, you're going to be able to see it.
But you're going to pay the price.
And I think this is actually quite a clever thing. I've been reading up that guys are saying this is actually a little bit of a marketing campaign to allow RTX features on any card, but it's going to run terribly. So then you're going to be forced, you're going to like go, oh, this is so amazing, I can't live without it.
I love the feature.
I love the feature. I'm going to buy an RTX card and upgrade.
To run it 4 times smoother. So it is a bit of a marketing campaign. However, you do get to experience RTX.
And I'm quite glad they're doing it. I want to see how it runs on my 1080 Ti, so I'm looking forward to it.
Daniel Dupree, welcome, buddy. Hey, Dave, would you go for the 2070 or the 1080 Ti? Wow, that's talk about on the nose there. Because I actually just got a 2070 Z Series MSI, and I had a 2080 Ti before that. And we were discussing this earlier off camera, actually. And I said to Neil, I may be losing a little bit of performance with the 2070, but I would trade that for the RTX features any day of the week. So
2070 is in general for most games a little bit slow, about 5 to 10% slower than the 1080 Ti. But the only way you can buy them now is secondhand.
Yes.
1080 Ti. They are coming down in price, but there are the rarities going up. And again, you've got all the risks about buying secondhand. But with the 2070, you're getting the RTX, and the 2070 is more than strong enough to actually run those RTX features.
That's the thing. And the thing is, guys, once you play with RTX on, you play games like Battlefield 5, and you see where they try to cheat the effect with non-RTX effects, you can't unsee it. So I played Battlefield 5 on a non-RTX card, and I can see the blur around the muzzle of a gun, and like all that I pick up straight away. I'm like, no, I can't. So
it's a subtle but really, really
once
powerful
you know
effect.
It's there, you can't unsee it, and then you have to go RTX.
So again, to answer your question, Donna, the thing will be basically down to price. Dana, sorry. Dana, it'll be, I think, RTX 2070s are around 11,000 Rand. Second-hand 1080 Ti's range anywhere between 8 and 10. So if you can get one, maybe go 1080 Ti, but know that you're going to not have those features when they release this new driver. You know, so maybe stick it out for a little while, wait for the 2070 prices to come down a little bit, jump on that train.
What about DLSS? That's only available on RTX.
That's only available on RTX.
And how would you, I know a lot of guys who are more excited about DLSS now.
I know a lot of guys who hate the feature.
Really?
It's terrible. They just say it ruins image quality.
Really?
Yeah, so I think it's a really cool feature. I think it's a bit like, not motion blur, Bloom was back in the day. Where everyone uses it like over the top and it looks like crap.
They're trying to use it because they have it,
Yeah, where DLSS, I think if they use it subtly, it'll give you that huge performance increase. Because that's what the main thing about it. It's not to make it look significantly better. It's to make it look the same amount of good with hardly any performance hits.
Whereas ray tracing, how many video games have light?
All of them.
how many video games have a light source? I mean, every single one of them. So
we're in a physics session now.
Exactly. So I mean, I can see that feature being implemented in almost every game going forward in the next 6 months to a year.
So I think Jonathan could see us just like buying stuff as we running
GeForce GTX 1660 Ventus XS 6GB overclocked edition paired with the Dell. Oh, he's got the 24-inch. Full dynamic range, 144. That's good. 4.3 upgrade cost 10.4. What was the referral name to give EveTech when I contact Dangerous Dave?
Just say Dangerous Dave sent you.
They'll sort you out. Be like Dangerous Dave sent you. Say Dangerous Dave. All the double D. Say both.
But jump in there. Those guys will definitely help you out. They're really top notch.
They're phenomenal. They'll sort you guys out in a jiff. We've had so many guys go there from our streams, and we hear the greatest stories like Jurgen's coming
Well,
back.
here's a guy buying things
On the
live
stream.
on
That's,
stream.
that's what I'm talking
We should
about.
have a second camera over Jonathan's
I'm-
shoulder, be like, here he is now.
I would play you a meme if my stream deck wasn't too far away. In fact, I might just do it.
Maybe get us some more apple cider on the way back.
This is alcohol. You just said it.
Apple, iced tea.
It wasn't even subtle. Come on, guy.
Hail to the king, baby.
There you go.
That's plenty, boy. It's alcohol free.
Yeah.
That's all you have in your house.
We're drinking tea.
Yeah.
So with that said, James Foxy on the stream. What's happening, buddy? Welcome. So we just we're selling parts. We just sold a beautiful system to
Basically,
Jonathan.
just sold a little upgrade of the 1660
Yeah.
Ti. And they say online marketing doesn't
They
work.
say it doesn't work. I bite my thumb at those that say otherwise.
Yeah.
James, any questions? We're talking about the 1660 series, the GTX 1660, as well as the 1660 Ti series. They've been available in the country for about a week and a half.
Yeah.
EveTech, I think they're stocking the entire range, the full range.
Yeah, they are stocking everything.
Link in the description.
They've got they've got the Armor Edition, they've got the Ventus Edition, and they've got the Gamer X Edition,
they've
which is
probably
this
got
one.
the biggest range of
They
1660 cards.
I don't think they do
They
because
do.
they are like the MSI guys in this country.
And the
so-
best prices. And we say this every time. Go find a better price. And guess what?
Yeah.
They never do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They
We
never
try to
do.
warn them, but they never do.
Yeah.
They say we should. Yeah.
Yeah.
Any other questions, Devin? EveTech is the best online computer store I've ever used. Will continue to use their amazing service. Yeah, cheers to that, Devin. They are fantastic, buddy. Absolutely great. All my stuff's from EveTech as well. I've got the brand new case, which I should probably show you guys just now. If you guys stick around for another 5 minutes, I'll show you guys my beautiful new case. I don't think they're available yet, though.
No.
Not for sale yet. They should be.
We need Mr. James here. To
James
actually
Foxley might
let
be
us
able to
know
answer
when the reveal date of the beautiful
before I show it off and make
case
everyone
is.
jelly. But they should be available in the next week or two,
I don't
maybe
want you
3.
to show your case because the lights on.
I'll smidge the light to the side. Any other questions, guys? Chime in. Let me set up that EveTech case to show you guys. Neil, you can take questions in the meantime.
All right, I'm hoping someone asks some questions.
Please do.
So what's someone? Nobody's answering any questions, so.
Don't go too quiet on us, guys. Come on.
So yeah, like as I said before, the 1660 is selling at EveTech for 5,400 rand. The 1616 Ti is selling for just under 6,000 rand, 1 rand underneath, in fact. And all of them are available now. They have them in stock, so jump on there and buy them. If you're looking for the RTX series, you want to go one level up, then do that. Are you going
Who
to
wants
jump
to see
the?
that case?
Let's
up
check
your hand,
out
Neil.
the new.
This guy does.
I'm looking at it right now.
Alright. This is the brand new case. Like I said, they're not available just yet, but this will be their standard case build. Check that out, ladies and gents. Ooh, look at the RGB.
Show the front.
It's got a bit of cabling. Don't mind the wires, guys. But you get an idea of how amazing this case is.
So Devin Pike saying me, I'm assuming he wants that new case.
Check at the top. I love that they've gone for like this great system at the top. It's beautiful. And it's a lot larger than their previous cases. Like I said, please don't mind the wires.
If you know Dave, you know that he's terrible at wire
I've got a
management.
crow's nest going 24/7. But it's a beautiful case. It does also come with a remote control that you can use to like adjust the lighting. So if you want just a certain color, it can even sync to music if you want it. Oh, so you can't see that. There you go.
Put on red for
Put
MSI.
it on red for MSI. There you go. You can sync it up. You can put it on auto. You can do whatever you want. Beautiful case. Absolute thing of beauty. there you
So
go.
Devin's saying he's actually on the lookout for a new case. So
Really?
hopefully James will give us an update. Otherwise, guys, keep a lookout at EveTech site. They're definitely going to have these cases in stock soon. I think they're just actually finalizing pricing. And the pricing is ridiculously good on these cases. We can't reveal what the price is, but I know you guys
It's
are
highly
gonna be
competitive.
stupidly impressed.
We'll say highly competitive.
Highly competitive. Look at that. That looks beautiful.
It's a great looking case.
Wait, no, but we're looking at layers.
Oh, sorry. I'm looking at the screen of my phone just to see it again, even though the thing's right here. It's that beautiful.
Oh, we only have the best quality content here.
Only the best, guys. I think my cat's trying to bust in there.
That's fine.
She must be part of the stream.
Yeah.
So before we end off, I think we've got 5 more minutes. How much time do we have left?
I think 5 more minutes.
5 more minutes. If
So
you
we'll
guys,
take 1 or 2 more questions if you guys have anything. Otherwise, we can close off the stream.
Any other questions? If you guys enjoyed the content, the information, you want to share it with your PC enthusiast buddies, please tag them in the comments below.
Yeah.
Share the stream to your page anywhere. Share it to any gaming hardware page that you know of on Facebook. It helps us out in a huge way. So we really do appreciate it.
Dan Park says credit card is awaiting purchase of that new case.
Dude, that case is so glorious and it's so quiet. 6 fans, and it is so whisper quiet. Even when I'm running Metro, cranked out the wazoo, I don't hear that thing at all.
That's very cool.
It's a beautiful case. So check out EveTech, link in the description. Last 2 questions. Come on, guys. You got the Double D and the Marksman here live on
answer any
TGIF
question.
Friday. Frederick, I like woodworking, so idea of a table PC is still an idea, but I like building stuff myself.
Dude, build a table PC, man. I've been thinking about doing that maybe one time.
What do you mean when you say table PC?
So the PC's built into the top of the table.
Oh, wow.
So you have a glass top and you see all the RGB. All
wow.
the power, all the wazoos going off there.
If you can pull that off, I'd say, hells yeah, go with that. One thing that I've actually always wanted to do is an open air PC on the wall.
Yeah.
So no case at all, just like all the components.
This is a dust nightmare.
Well, that's the thing.
Yeah.
Like, it would be a dust nightmare.
I have ideas. We need to speak to EveTech.
We'll speak
I've
to
had
them.
this idea for a while now.
What about an open air build?
No, it won't be open air, but it'll be ridiculously cool. It'll be a wall build.
Well, that's what I'm talking about. A build like directly on the wall.
But what you going to do with the portrait?
The portrait? Have the guys seen the portrait?
I don't know. Maybe show the guys the portrait.
You guys want to see the portrait?
Thanks very much, Ralph. Saying thanks. Very good show. Was very informative. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it gives you guys some advice of buying new graphics cards. It is a crazy market out there at the moment. And
this is why
now for something completely different.
This is why I can't get a wall board. Like this. This is way better than any. This is way better than SLI 2070s. This is my oil painting. I had to pose for 11 hours, and it's right next to the jam. Hey. I think they got the likeness just spot on there. What do you think, Neil?
I hate this photo. I hate this
painting. What do you mean photo? It's an oil painting.
It's burnt into my skull. Remember, I had to help you make it.
Yeah, last question.
Alright, Jonathan Kutsia, with the last question. I'm using an i7 4790 stock cooler. Should I add an all-in-one water cooler in my upgrade card? So, if you are running an i7, I think you might struggle to get a water cooler now to fit onto an i7 4790.
Mm-hmm.
If you can find one, go for it, I say. Like, I'm not the biggest fan of water cooling. I think a lot of times it causes a lot of problems. We had some issues in the past where the cooler will break, or the fans on the radiator will break, or the pump will stop working, or it won't change colors or anything like that. So a normal air cooling fan to me is a lot more straightforward, unless you are planning on doing some hectic overclocking. If you're running a 4790, if it's not the K version, you're not going to be able to upgrade unless you are buying something new. Let me just go back here and see. But I don't think you said anything about buying a new processor.
No, I don't think you did.
Yeah, so for now, I'd say stick with air cooling. Get yourself a new case. It'll actually make the cooler, and it'll be. And if you're going to upgrade your processor in the near future, you're going to have to buy a new cooler anyway.
Jonathan's saying it's a masterpiece. Thank you, buddy. I get that a lot. You'd be surprised how many people.
I'm glad people are enjoying.
I wanted to have it in the front of the house.
This is his house, by the way. He has a girlfriend. Like. Most people don't have this stuff in his house.
She wouldn't let me put it in the front wall.
Yeah, he wanted it in the entrance hall, but she said no on that.
I got denied. But ladies and gents, with that said, I think
should we close this one down?
All good things must come to an end. I think we'll go to the penthouse. Should we see what it looks like even?
Yeah, we can. It's gonna look weird though, but
should we try the penthouse?
Because it's gonna look weird.
It looks too weird. I'll change it back.
It's gonna look weird because I've changed the camera angles and stuff.
Did you?
Yeah.
You want to just cut it here?
Yeah, I think let's call it a day.
Ladies and gents, that is the show. Thank you so much to MSI for letting us play with the beautiful GTX 1660 and 1660 Ti myself, Lucky, and Neil need to go. It is Friday.
Yeah.
And we've got a couple of cold ones brewing, and they're not going to drink themselves. So we're going to
But
let
guys,
them
thank you so much for joining. Just to answer Devin's last question, it's called the Hero. That's the model of the case. I think it's the Eve Tech Hero.
Yeah.
It's their own case. Just ask them about it.
It
should be available within the next month. So we'll
Maybe 2
definitely,
weeks.
And I think,
check in with them. It should be any day now.
and check in on our site. We're going to be doing a reveal video of the case soon as well.
Yeah.
That the lovely Miss Chloe is putting together.
Yeah, it's so beautiful. Built-in Mystic Light RGB.
It's going to be pretty sweet.
It's the thing of beauty, guys.
Yeah.
And once again, if you really enjoyed the show, please share the stream, give it a like, give it a smiley face or any emoticon. Really helps us out. So share it out anywhere you can on Facebook. Maybe there's a couple of hardware pages about that we haven't thought of. Give it a share, and we're going to love and leave you guys. We're going to play out with a little sizzly beat.
Yeah.
Send you off on your way.
Thanks a lot, guys. Have a good one.
And Neil, have an amazing... Oh, that's the wrong beat. Wait, that's the right one. That's the right one. Make them laugh, Neil.
I'm laughing. Oh, now everything's playing great. All right. Cheers,
guys.
guys.
Take it easy. Like you
Bye-bye.
said, cheers.